In this video, we're going to take a look at Southridge Baptist Church's website. So we'll start by going to the URL, and you log in by going to wp-admin, and then you'll put in the username and password that we've given you and log in, and this is the back end where I'll show you how to make basic changes and updates. So we'll go down the list of these items in the black panel here, and I'll just kind of start at the top and keep going down. So we'll start with updates, and these are just plugins that need or can be updated, and you can, anytime you see that orange number, you can select all these and update them. We regularly update and check on all our sites, so you don't ever have to worry about this if you don't want to. Next is posts. I don't think that you have blog posts. It doesn't look like you're utilizing that currently. That's a draft, so if you ever do end up wanting to create a blog, let us know and we'll help you get that set up. We'll move on to media. This is where all your photos, PDFs, anything are located, songs, that kind of thing. And you can view them here. You can see what their URL is on the site, things like that. But anytime that you need to access the media library, there'll be a button for it within whatever page or form you're looking at. So we'll move on to forms. You have one form here, and these are prayer requests. So this is pretty basic. You just have name, email, phone number, those kind of things. If you want to rearrange the order of these, they're just dragged. You can add other fields if you'd like to add address or date or anything like that. You can add these are called radio buttons. If you wanted to add more of those, you would just click on that there and edit, give it a label. So and you can add or subtract these, and you can make things a required field if you'd like, and you can duplicate the field here, or you can get rid of it, and you can preview it. It doesn't look exactly how it looks on your page, but you can kind of get the idea. And so this is, you've got these final two are what we call conditional. They have conditional logic, so if you say yes, then the other two will pop up, and if you say no, then they won't, because if you don't need them if they say no. So that's just under advanced, enable conditional logic, and then you say show this field if would you like someone is yes, and then that's the same thing here, and it's pretty simple. You can look at settings, and if you look at notifications, this is where you can see who's receiving the notifications. So right now it's just whoever has an admin login, and so if you want to, you can duplicate this form or this notification for this form, and then click on it and change this admin email to whoever is going to be in charge of these prayer requests, and put their email there, and those will go directly to their inbox. And you would click update notification once you change that, and then you can go to entries here and see who has submitted, and it looks like no one has yet, but this is where they would be located. But if you wanted someone to just receive those straight to their email inbox, that's where you can do notifications. And you can create a new form just by going to forms here and clicking add new, and it's pretty self-explanatory, has those fields like I showed you, and yeah, those things. So I think that's good for forms. So we'll move on to pages, and these are just what creates those internal pages. On your site. So these ministry pages or what have you are created through that. So let's just look at Awana, and this works like any word processing program like Microsoft Word or anything like that. You can change the wording or anything. You can change the size, can bold, italicize, bullet list, can add a hyperlink, which is what we've done here. So just how you do that is you just highlight whatever you want to be the link and insert the link, and then paste the URL right there, and then you would click apply. And so this is linking to it looks like a Google Doc for people to register for Awana. And then these resources looks like are on Google Docs as well. So it's done the same way, is you just highlight what you want to hyperlink, click this, and then put the URL there. And this page has a featured image, and so that's set through here. So if you end up having pictures of people from your church that you would like to add there, then you would just click on this. You can drag or select files like that, and then they'll be in the media library, and you can select them and say set featured image, and that's how you can change that. And whenever you make changes, you'll say update, and that's how you change that. So we'll move on. Comments would be for if you had like a blog, which you don't. So we'll move on to calendars. For calendar, what we've got going for you is we have your Google Calendar is linked to this page. So all that you need to do here is log into your Google Calendar and add dates and add events through that, and they will automatically show up here on your website. So there's really nothing you need to worry about on this part of the website for calendars. We've just got it set up for you, and you don't have to mess with anything here. This is all updated through your Google Calendar that is, I believe, titled website calendar. So then you just add whatever dates and things you want everyone to be able to see, that would be on that Google Calendar. So we'll move on to sermons, and this is where you'll add new sermons. So you'll click add new, and you'll give your sermon a title, or it has a title probably, and you'll put that here. You can add the date, and you can fill in anything that is pertinent. So if there's a main Bible passage or a description, that can go here. Preachers, if you just start typing the name of a preacher or whoever is, I can't remember. Yeah, there you go. It'll show up, and then you just click it and click add. If there's a sermon series, then you can put that there, doing the same thing, going down the list here. You can also add a featured image to your sermons if you'd like, but your site, I don't really think, is set up for that. So if that's something you end up wanting to do later, you'll just have to let us know. And then to add the sermon audio, you just click add sermon audio. And in the same way that you would upload a picture, you just drag it or select it here, and then say, you'll select it and then say use this file. And then if you have a bulletin or something that you want to upload to go with it, you'll do the same thing, add it, and then choose, whichever file works, and then you'll click publish. Or you can save it as a draft if you're not ready, anything like that. And then you can edit any of these just by clicking on them. So if you end up wanting to change something, or the date was wrong or anything there, you can do that here. So that's most things there. So let's talk about homepage areas. This is what creates your, as you would guess, homepage. So there's several areas, as you can see, and that make up your homepage. And we'll just kind of take a look at how those are. And my guess is you probably won't want to change these because it looks good, and you don't want to mess up the way that the site looks, but I'll go over just kind of how these work, so that you can change the wording, you can change background colors or things like that if that's something that interests you, things like that. So you should be able to find all these homepage areas here, and they're not in the right order here, but they'll be in the right order under reorder, and they can be switched around by dragging them. But if you reorder them, then you'll mess with the ones that are these like half width ones. Won't look right. So let's look at, we have this one called Slider, which is Slider Revolution. I'll go over how to use this, but right now there's just shortcode in this homepage area right there. And underneath that would be the welcome, which might be that one. Yeah. So you can change any of the wording here. We've got everything is centered, and then this is in heading 1, that's the bigger font, and then this is in paragraph, which is smaller. And so if you scroll down, this is where the formatting comes into play on those areas in the boxes. And the only thing we have on this one is padding yes. And you'll want that on any homepage area because it gives it space around the words and makes it look nice like that. And so the background is white, and then the CSS is set so that this looks good and is consistent throughout. And so for the Sunday worship and upcoming events pods, this one is just going to have shortcode in it as well, because it's going to just take the most recent upcoming events and just auto populate this. So you don't have to add anything there. That's just going to happen on its own. And then this is formatted as a button, and it's hyperlinked to the calendar page on your site. And so that's why it looks like a button. So we'll go down to service times, and we'll look at this one too. And the same thing, you've got text. So if you ever need to change the times, now you know where that's located. This is hyperlinked to the calendar and is formatted as a button. And if you'll scroll down, this is where you'll see the formatting. And so we've got a background color, and if you ever want to recreate or use this color somewhere else, it's this code right here, so you can copy and paste that and use it elsewhere. This determines the transparency or the opaqueness of that color in the background, and padding is always checked. And then you'll scroll down, you'll see it says half pod yes, and then the half pod height is 480. And the way that works is on this other homepage area that had the upcoming events, it's set to the same thing, and so it's going to be set to 480. So it's checked half pod yes and padding yes, and then it's got a color in the background and set to 480. So then once those are ordered to be next to each other, it'll automatically look like this. So if you move things around, it'll mess up on the homepage. So if you do end up if you want to make another homepage area, I would not make it half width, and then I would make sure it's at the very bottom so that it doesn't interfere with the half width pods. And so then you'll see under students and adults, same thing. You've got, this is formatted as a button. And so if you want to keep, let's say you want to keep the site looking the same way, but you want to change these to different ministries, all you'd have to do is go into these and not mess with the formatting at all, and just change these words and make this link somewhere else. So you could make this a different ministry, put the title here, put some words about it, and then just link to the page for that ministry on your site, which you can always create new pages, and then I'll show you how to add them to the menu here if that ever becomes something that you want to do, and then you would never have to mess with any of this. So let's take a real quick look at how we did the Awana one, and that's done through the same way. So you've got that heading 1 and everything's centered. This is formatted as a button and links to your Awana page. And if you scroll down, there's a image in the background added the same way that we add anything else, and then we put a color over it, and as you can see, we made it less transparent or less opaque than the other one. So it's kind of got that nice looking color overlay. And then also this text is all formatted as white text so that it shows up nice and clear over the top of that photo. And then the rest of the formatting stays the same. Padding, yes. And then this just means we've changed the position of the photo in the background so you get the best section of that photo. So like I said, if you want to add new homepage areas, you can kind of just replicate what you see in the other ones. But if you need help with that moving forward, you can always reach out and ask for help. But that gives you kind of the idea of where everything's at. And then the map is just shortcode, and I'll show you kind of how the map works in just a moment. And that shortcode is right there. So let's move to staff members. And you've got 2 staff members on your page. And if you ever want to add more, I can show you how to do that. Basically, this is pretty self-explanatory. You put the name there, and then scroll down, and then you'd put their name again, and this is what will actually show up on the page, their title, bio, give them an email, and a photo. So that would work the same way if you went to add a new staff. You'd put their name there so you could recognize it. Name, title, bio. You can format however you want, just like within pages or homepage areas. Email, and then phone number, add a staff photo, and it works just the same way as everything else, and you would just click publish. And then you'll want to reorder them just the same way that you reordered homepage areas to put them in the order that you would like. And then we'll move on to Genesis is the theme used on your website, so don't need to worry about anything there. We'll move on to appearance. There's 2 things to talk about here. We'll look at widgets and menus. So we'll start with widgets. And this is what controls the things that are in your heading, your header up here, and then the footer down here. So in the visual editor at the top, we have the name of your church, which links to your homepage. And then your menu. And these things are added by coming over here and selecting visual editor and then saying where you want it to go. But it requires extra formatting skills, so you may not want to add anything. And if you do and something messes up, you can always let us know. And then this you can see is the before header. So 9 a.m. Bible study and then your address. That's what's right here, as you can see. But it doesn't look exactly the same here, which is why I'm saying there's been extra formatting, CSS done to make this look the way that it does. So you'll just want to be careful about the things that you change. But if you want to change just the words, or if these times change, or if you move buildings and need to change the address, that's where that's located, and you would just change it and then click save. And this just allows for homepage areas to show up. And then this is what's at the bottom, the visit us, and it shows up on every page. And so if you ever need to change the phone number or the email, and then this is just hyperlinked by adding the words mail to and then a colon. And then it'll just open up your email to email that, and you would just hit save if you make any changes there. And then this has your menu, your social media menu in the bottom, and I'll show you how to add things to this list. So yeah, let's take that's most everything in widgets. If you want to add other things, you just click on them here and select where you want to put them, but again, you'll just want to be careful with what you change and add. So we'll go to menus and look at those, and you have a main menu and a social media menu. So like I said, if you wanted to create a new page, let's say you went in, created a new page, it's going to show up here. It'll be under most recent. It's going to be right here. So you would just go to appearance and menus, and then you'd click on whatever the page was that you created, click add to menu, and then you'll just put it wherever you want. You can make it a sub menu item, and you can change what it's called if you want to change the navigation label, or you can remove it, and then you would hit save. And so that same goes for these. If you want to rearrange or reorder them or put them in different places, you can do that. So social media menu, you'll click on that, and if you add a different form of social media, then what you would do is create a custom link and put that URL here, and then what you'll do is just go ahead and copy and paste this part and then change that right there. Click add to menu, and then you could put it wherever you want. And obviously we'll remove that because we don't want it, but always hit save if you make any changes. And those are the things that you need to know about menus. Plugins, I talked about those earlier, that the ones that are currently on your site, they are updated for you, and you don't need to worry about adding new ones unless you want to. If you need help with that, you can let us know. Users, this is where your admin logins are, and so if you end up wanting to change your password, this is where you can come in and change your password. But you'll want to make it very secure so that people don't have an easy way to hack into your website. Tools, settings, and SEO are all things I'm not going to talk about right now. If you do end up having questions about that, you can contact us. Duplicator is something we use to build the site, or to launch it rather. Slider Revolution is what creates that slider at the top of your homepage. So I'll go over kind of how to make this happen. What you have on yours is what we call a static layer. So it means as pictures slide through, you just have the same words over the top of it. So basically, you click on Slider Revolution and you'll click on this slider here. And this is where you can edit these slides. So let's say if you just want to make one of the slides invisible, you can do that by clicking the red, or if you can make it visible by clicking the green. You can also change out the picture if you have pictures from an event or something that you want to throw in the back and you think will look good. All you have to do is go to Media Library. Same thing, just upload the picture or select it and click Insert. You'll want pictures to be at least 1,000 pixels wide if you want them to look good here though. And you can change the position of the photo if it's one that needs changing, or if you want to change, this is what gives it that zooming effect, so where it looks like it's kind of like zooming in or out on a photo, so it looks kind of like it's zooming in slowly on that photo. That's changed by saying from 100 to 105, scaling in %, and that's how that's changed. And you can always add a slide, and what you would do is just add a blank slide here and then put a photo in the background. So go to the main background image, go in here and select your photo, and so I'll click save, and then if I click preview, you'll see that the words just automatically show up because of that static layer. And that static layer can be edited by clicking right here on that part that said static layer and just clicking here. So if you decide you want to change the font or change the wording, if something changes, that's where you can do that. Obviously, I don't foresee that happening, but you'll just want to make sure if you do end up changing it that you look at it through each screen size. So I'll go back to this, and you can view it on top of the slide and see what it looks like. And so you'll just want to move through each screen size to make sure that it looks right before you make any real changes. So I'll just delete that. And yeah, I don't think you'll probably change a whole lot else on here. You can change the animation and how it slides in, but that really only matters on the first. So the only other thing that we need to look at is how to do the song of the month, which is here under media. And it looks nice and good like that. And the tab we've added is actually up here. So songs of the month, it's right here on the left, very easy to identify. And I'll just click on one that's already there. And so what you're going to do is add the ID from the song. So let me look up a YouTube video. And okay, so let's say it's this. It's whatever comes after this, usually this V equals sign. And so it's these numbers right here. So I'm going to copy and paste those for whatever video I'm going to use here. And that will go here. That's the song ID. And then you give the song a title like we did for staff members. Put the name there, but this will be the title. And then if you want to put notes about the song, you can do that there. And then whichever month and year it is there. So if you want to make any changes, if I got the months wrong on these, then you can make changes and then just click update, or you can add new by coming in here, getting the title, coming in here and getting that after the equal sign, those numbers, that's the song ID, some notes, month and year, and click publish. And that's everything. And I think I've covered everything on your site. So if you end up needing some extra help or some of this doesn't make sense, let us know and we'll get back with you and try to help you figure that out. So good luck, and hopefully this is very helpful.